In a remarkable shift, Saudi Arabia is undergoing a transformation that is capturing global attention. Under the leadership of Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, the kingdom is transitioning from a reputation as a regional troublemaker to a peacemaker, marking a significant change in its foreign and domestic policies. This evolution is not merely a public relations effort, it reflects a deeper commitment to economic diversification and social reform as the country seeks to reduce its long-standing dependence on oil. Historically, Saudi Arabia has been associated with rigid social norms and a strict interpretation of Islam. However, recent years have seen a seismic shift in societal attitudes, particularly among the youth. As bin Salman pushes forward with his Vision 2030 initiative, the aim is to create a more open and economically viable society. This ambitious plan seeks to transform the kingdom into a hub for investment in tourism, advocating for a reduction in oil dependency while promoting sectors like entertainment technology and renewable energy. According to analysts, the drive for reform is not just about economic necessity, it is also a response to the changing demographics of the country. With over 60% of the population under the age of 30, there is a growing demand for jobs, entertainment, and a more liberal lifestyle. Saudi Arabia's youth are hungry for change, says Dr. Alia Al-Husseini, a political analyst. They want more opportunities and a voice in their future, and the Crown Prince seems to recognize that. This transformation is also evident in Saudi Arabia's foreign policy. The kingdom has taken steps to mend relations with various countries, including those it had previously been at odds with. Notably, Saudi Arabia's recent engagement with Iran and outreach to neighboring Gulf states suggests a strategic pivot towards diplomacy and cooperation. This shift can be seen as crucial to stabilizing the region amid ongoing conflicts and geopolitical tensions. However, the path to transformation is not without challenges. The government's efforts to diversify the economy have faced criticism for creating new distortions, particularly as it navigates the complexities of a changing global market. Moreover, bin Salman's leadership style has drawn skepticism both domestically and internationally. Human rights activists have raised concerns about the ongoing repression of dissent and the treatment of activists, casting a shadow over the progressive reforms. The implications of these changes are profound not only for Saudi Arabia but for the broader Middle East. If successful, the kingdom could emerge as a leading economic powerhouse, fundamentally altering the balance of power in the region. Analysts predict that a more stable and economically diverse Saudi Arabia could foster a more collaborative Middle East, potentially reducing hostilities and opening avenues for peace. As Saudi Arabia continues on this transformative journey, the world watches closely. The effectiveness of bin Salman's reforms will likely be tested by economic realities, regional dynamics, and the aspirations of its youthful population. Should these reforms succeed, they could herald a new era for Saudi Arabia, one that embraces openness and cooperation while navigating the delicate balance of tradition and modernity. Looking ahead, the outcome of these initiatives will depend heavily on the government's ability to maintain momentum and address the various socio-political challenges that lie ahead. The ongoing evolution of Saudi Arabia's identity will not only redefine its role in the global arena but might also inspire similar movements in the region, echoing a broader quest for reform and modernization. As the landscape of education continues to evolve, the departure of long-serving administrators often marks a pivotal moment for schools and communities alike. Lynn Exline, the retiring superintendent of Salina Schools, recently reflected on her tenure, providing insights into the challenges and triumphs she faced during her time in office. Exline's tenure has spanned several years, during which she has witnessed significant changes in educational policy, technology integration, and community engagement. In her farewell remarks, she emphasized the importance of adaptability in education, stating, "The ability to pivot and respond to the needs of our students and staff has been crucial in navigating the complexities of modern education." Her acknowledgement of the evolving educational landscape speaks to a broader trend where schools must continuously adapt to new challenges and opportunities. One of the notable achievements during Xline's time was the implementation of innovative programs aimed at enhancing student engagement and learning outcomes. Under her leadership, Salina Schools launched various initiatives focusing on STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics education, which have received praise for fostering critical thinking and problem-solving skills among students. Investing in our students' future means equipping them with the tools they need to succeed in an ever-changing world, Xline asserted, highlighting her commitment to preparing students for the demands of the 21st century. However, Xline's tenure was not without its challenges. The COVID-19 pandemic presented unprecedented obstacles, forcing schools to adapt to remote learning and new safety protocols. Xline noted the resilience of both educators and students during this period, stating, "The way our community came together to support one another truly exemplified the spirit of Salina Schools." This collaboration not only ensured continuity in education but also strengthened the bond between the school district and the community it serves. As she prepares to step down, Xline expressed gratitude for the support she received throughout her career. "I am proud to have been a part of a team dedicated to nurturing the minds of our students and fostering a love for learning," she said. Her farewell serves as a reminder of the vital role that leadership plays in shaping educational institutions and the lasting impact that dedicated educators can have on their communities. Looking ahead, Xline's departure opens the door for new leadership within Salina Schools. The incoming superintendent will face the challenge of continuing the momentum built under her guidance while addressing the evolving needs of students and staff. As educational technology advances and pedagogical approaches shift, the next leader will need to remain flexible and innovative to ensure that Salina Schools continues to thrive. In conclusion, as Lynn Xline closes this chapter of her career, her legacy will undoubtedly influence the future direction of Salina Schools. Her commitment to adaptability, community engagement, and student success will serve as a guiding light for those who follow in her footsteps. The focus will now shift to how the new leadership will harness these foundational elements to navigate the complexities of education in the years to come. In an era where corporate culture often mirrors the fast-paced, content-driven landscape of entertainment, Disney and Marvel Studios present a compelling case study on the pitfalls of overproduction and the importance of intentionality in leadership. The trajectory of the Marvel Cinematic Universe (MCU) offers valuable lessons about focus, quality, and workplace culture, revealing how even the most successful brands can falter when overwhelmed by their own ambitions. The MCU began as a bold experiment with the release of Iron Man in 2008, ultimately evolving into a global phenomenon. Disney's acquisition of Marvel for $4 billion in 2009 set the stage for a series of interconnected films that captivated audiences and generated unprecedented box office revenue, culminating in the staggering $2.8 billion earned by Avengers: Endgame in 2019. However, as the demand for more content surged, Disney's operating philosophy shifted from quality to quantity, leading to what has been termed Marvel fatigue. Kevin Feige, the president of Marvel Studios, acknowledged this shift when he noted that the barrage of content began to feel more like homework than entertainment for viewers. The rapid production of numerous shows and films for Disney's streaming platform overwhelmed audiences and diluted the brand's unique appeal. In a candid reflection, Disney CEO Bob Iger admitted, "In our zeal to flood our streaming platform with more content, we turned to all of our creative engines and had them produce a lot more." He further emphasized the need for a strategic pivot back to quality, stating, "We've all admitted to ourselves that we lost a little focus by making too much." This phenomenon extends beyond the realm of entertainment and serves as a cautionary tale for organizations across various industries. The urge to innovate and expand can lead to a culture of initiative fatigue where employees feel inundated by an array of new programs, perks, and messaging that lack cohesion. As a result, the workplace can resemble a disjointed anthology series where clarity is lost and engagement wanes. Employees may feel more managed than supported, creating a fragmented environment that undermines trust and collaboration. In an age where mental health and employee well-being are paramount, many companies have rushed to implement wellness programs and initiatives without addressing the underlying issues that contribute to employee dissatisfaction. The reliance on mental health apps or generalized wellness stipends can become performative, failing to resonate with employees who seek meaningful recognition, a sense of belonging, and genuine support. The lessons learned from Disney and Marvel underscore the significance of depth over noise in cultivating a strong workplace culture. Just as Marvel is refocusing on fewer high-quality films, organizations are encouraged to resist the temptation to overproduce cultural initiatives. Leaders should prioritize strategies that are personalized and integrated, fostering environments where employees feel seen and valued. Questions such as, what story is our culture telling day to day, become vital in assessing the health of an organization's culture. As Disney navigates its path back to a focus on narrative quality, the broader business community can glean insights from this experience. The emphasis should be on building robust, cohesive cultures that prioritize the employee experience over sheer volume. In the long run, as both Disney and Marvel have learned, less can indeed be more, especially when it comes to nurturing an environment that fosters creativity, loyalty, and sustained engagement. The future will likely see a renewed focus on intentionality and depth in corporate culture, setting the stage for a more meaningful narrative in both business and entertainment. In a significant turn of events that could reshape the landscape of global healthcare, Bill Gates recently announced a dramatic shift in the operations of the Gates Foundation. During its 25th anniversary celebration on May 8, 2025, Gates revealed that the foundation will conclude its activities by December 31, 2045. This decision comes with an unprecedented commitment of over $200 billion to be allocated toward global health and human development initiatives over the next 2 decades, particularly aimed at eradicating preventable deaths and infectious diseases, as well as combating poverty, especially in Africa. Gates articulated the foundation's goals in an interview with the New York Times, stating that the organization will enter what he referred to as a miraculous period. This shift in focus is not just a closure, but rather an ambitious plan to address pressing global health challenges. He emphasized the urgency of eliminating preventable deaths among mothers and infants, eradicating infectious diseases like malaria and typhoid, and alleviating poverty through agricultural improvements in developing regions. This announcement comes at a time when global health initiatives are facing significant headwinds, particularly in light of recent cuts to U.S. foreign aid. A study published in The Lancet highlighted that cuts in funding for programs like PEPFAR, which provides critical HIV and AIDS relief, could result in the deaths of about 500,000 children by 2030. Further, the journal Nature warned that reduced U.S. aid could lead to an additional 25 million deaths over the next 15 years. Gates expressed concern regarding the ramifications of these funding cuts, particularly in Africa, which has been disproportionately impacted by these reductions and ongoing civil conflicts. With the foundation's closure on the horizon, Gates underscored the necessity of achieving tangible results in the short time left. He outlined 3 primary goals: to ensure that no mother or child dies from preventable causes, to eradicate infectious diseases, and to eliminate poverty through agricultural advancements. Notably, he mentioned advancements in medical technology, including a genetic cure for HIV and affordable treatments for diseases like lymphatic filariasis. Gates also addressed the role of artificial intelligence in this ambitious plan, describing it as a magic wand that can facilitate advancements across health, agriculture, and education systems. He believes that AI can play a crucial role in realizing the foundation's objectives over the next 20 years. Enhancing the effectiveness of healthcare delivery and resource allocation. The Foundation's proactive approach aims to leave a lasting legacy in global health, contributing to a healthier future while grappling with the challenges posed by diminishing aid from one of the world's largest contributors. As the clock ticks down to 2045, the Gates Foundation's efforts could very well redefine the trajectory of global health, making it imperative for stakeholders in international development to remain vigilant and supportive of these initiatives. In conclusion, while the future of the Gates Foundation may be finite, its impact could resonate long beyond its operational lifespan. As the Foundation embarks on this ambitious final chapter, the coming years will be critical in determining how effectively it can meet its goals and influence global health policy in a time of increasing uncertainty. Sonos, the premium wireless speaker manufacturer, recently marked the one-year anniversary of a significant software debacle that had sent ripples through its operations and customer base. The company, however, seems to be on a path to recovery, as evidenced by its latest fiscal second quarter results released on May 7. In a year that began with a disastrous app upgrade, Sonos has demonstrated resilience, reporting a nearly 3% increase in revenue, reaching approximately $260 million and surpassing Wall Street expectations. Last year, Sonos faced a major setback when it launched a revamped version of its app designed to control its products. The update was riddled with bugs, leaving many customers frustrated and unable to use their systems effectively. This misstep not only tainted the launch of the company's first headphones but also led to the cancellation of other product launches and a downward revision of its financial outlook for the year. Despite the ongoing recovery, Sonos' stock remains down 42% since the app's launch, contrasting sharply with a 10% gain for the Nasdaq during the same period. The company is now under the leadership of Tom Conrad, a longtime board member who stepped into the role of chief executive at the beginning of the year. In the 4 months since taking over, Conrad has implemented a series of organizational changes, including a reduction of the workforce by 12% and a restructuring aimed at streamlining operations. This restructuring combines multiple hardware business units into one while centralizing software development efforts, all in a bid to enhance efficiency and responsiveness. "It's pretty dramatic, the progress we have made," Conrad shared in a recent interview, highlighting the focus on improving the app's performance with a commitment to making it fast, reliable, and easy to use. As Sonos navigates through this turbulent period, it has been heartened by strong sales of its premium Arc Ultra soundbar, which retails at $1,000, launched last fall amidst the fallout from the app update. Additionally, the company is attracting new customers with strategic pricing adjustments, including a recent 20% reduction in the price of its Era 100 speaker, now positioned at $199. This move is seen as a way to lower barriers for potential buyers, which could be beneficial in expanding the average number of Sonos products per household, which stood at 3.08 by the end of fiscal year 2024, according to Morgan Stanley's Eric Woodring. Despite the challenges, there is cautious optimism surrounding Sonos' trajectory. The company is prioritizing software enhancements over new hardware releases for the remainder of the fiscal year, as it continues to rebuild its brand and regain customer trust. All eyes will be on Sonos to see whether it can successfully turn the page on the anniversary of its software fiasco and emerge stronger in the highly competitive audio market. The upcoming months will be crucial as the company seeks to maintain its momentum and capitalize on new customer acquisitions, setting the stage for what could be a pivotal year ahead. The ambition to establish a human presence on the moon is a vision that has long inspired scientists, engineers, and innovators. As Earth's nearest celestial body, the moon provides a unique opportunity for scientific exploration and technological advancement, serving as a critical stepping stone for future missions to Mars and beyond. The ongoing endeavors in lunar base construction (LBC) underscore our commitment to not only understanding the moon's geology and resources but also to ensuring the long-term survival and prosperity of humanity. The latest developments in this area have been highlighted through a call for papers in the journal NPJ Space Exploration, which is seeking original research contributions on lunar base construction. The submission window is open until December 31, 2025, inviting a wide range of studies and insights that align with the overarching theme of sustainable lunar habitation, as articulated in the journal. Establishing a lunar base is essential for fostering a deeper understanding of the moon and for testing technologies that will be paramount in future interplanetary missions. The significance of lunar base construction extends beyond mere exploration. It represents humanity's commitment to expanding its reach into the cosmos, thereby enhancing our scientific knowledge and technological capabilities. A sustainable lunar base would not only allow for in-depth geological studies but also serve as a practical platform to develop and refine life support systems that could be utilized on Mars and other celestial bodies. This ambition is not just a dream, it is an essential step in the evolution of human civilization. In addition to the scientific and exploratory advantages, lunar base construction could catalyze economic opportunities. The potential for mining lunar resources such as water ice and rare minerals presents a new frontier for economic growth. These resources could be utilized to support lunar habitats, fuel space missions, and perhaps even be transported back to Earth for commercial use. As various space agencies and private companies vie for a stake in lunar exploration, the economic implications of a lunar base become increasingly significant. Commenting on the importance of the initiative, Dr. Jingrui Zhang, an editorial board member of NPJ Space Exploration, stated, "Lunar base construction is not merely about science, it is about securing humanity's future in space. By developing a sustainable presence on the Moon, we can test the technologies and systems necessary for long-duration space missions that will ultimately lead us to Mars." As the world watches with bated breath, the prospect of humanity establishing a permanent presence on the Moon is becoming more tangible. The ongoing research and the collaborative efforts among nations and private entities reflect a shared vision for the future. The call for papers by NPJ Space Exploration signifies a growing recognition of the vital role that academic and scientific inquiry will play in shaping the lunar frontier. The implications of successfully building a lunar base extend far beyond the immediate scientific and economic benefits. It symbolizes humanity's enduring quest for knowledge and exploration, embodying the spirit of adventure that has driven us to explore the unknown throughout history. As we pave the way for a new chapter in space exploration, the insights gleaned from lunar endeavors will undoubtedly inform our approach to planetary exploration and the prospects for human life beyond Earth. In conclusion, the journey towards establishing a lunar base represents a pivotal moment in human history. The collaborative efforts of scientists, engineers, and policymakers will be crucial in navigating the challenges that lie ahead. As we move forward, continued research and innovation will be essential in realizing the dream of a sustainable human presence on the Moon, ultimately leading us to new horizons among the stars. In the fast-evolving landscape of technology, few figures stand out like Lisa Su, the dynamic CEO and chair of Advanced Micro Devices (AMD). Under her leadership, AMD has not only revitalized its brand but has emerged as a formidable contender against industry giants like Intel and Nvidia. Su's journey from a curious child tinkering with gadgets to a trailblazing executive at the helm of a billion-dollar enterprise is both inspiring and indicative of the transformative power of innovation and leadership in the tech industry. Born on November 7, 1969 in Tainan, Taiwan, and raised in Queens, New York, Su's early life was characterized by a strong emphasis on education and a passion for engineering. Her father, a retired statistician, and her mother, an accountant turned entrepreneur, fostered an environment that encouraged intellectual curiosity. By the age of 10, Su was already soldering microchips, showcasing an affinity for technology that would define her future. This early interest culminated in her decision to pursue electrical engineering at the prestigious Massachusetts Institute of Technology (MIT), where she earned both her bachelor's and PhD degrees. Su's professional career commenced at Texas Instruments and swiftly moved to IBM, where she made significant contributions to semiconductor technologies. Her groundbreaking work on copper interconnects and her eventual rise to vice president of IBM's Semiconductor Research and Development Center positioned her as a leading figure in the industry. In 2007, she transitioned to Freescale Semiconductor, further honing her skills before joining AMD in 2012. At the time Su took over as CEO in 2014, AMD was struggling with dwindling revenues and market confidence. Many analysts viewed the company as a sinking ship, yet Su's strategic vision and bold decisions would soon turn the tide. She reoriented AMD's focus towards high-performance computing, leading to the development of revolutionary products like the Ryzen and EPYC processors. These innovations not only challenged Intel's dominance but also established AMD as a major player in the semiconductor industry. By 2024, AMD's stock had skyrocketed from around $2 in 2015 to over $150, a testament to Su's effective leadership. Su's rise within AMD is not merely a story of financial success, it is also a narrative of breaking barriers in a male-dominated industry. As one of the few women leading a Fortune 500 company, she has become an advocate for gender diversity in technology, emphasizing the need to attract more women into STEM fields. Her commitment to fostering an inclusive workplace has inspired countless young women to pursue careers in engineering and technology. In addition to her corporate achievements, Su's influence extends to her role in shaping the future of technology. Her strategic foresight in areas such as artificial intelligence, machine learning, and high-performance computing has positioned AMD at the forefront of emerging trends. As the demand for semiconductors continues to rise, Su's leadership is crucial in navigating the challenges and opportunities that lie ahead. Looking to the future, analysts project that Su's net worth could reach between $1.5 billion and $2 billion by 2027, driven by AMD's continued success and expansion into new markets. The company's recent acquisitions and innovations signal a commitment to remaining a leader in the rapidly evolving tech landscape. Lisa Su's journey from a young girl fascinated by technology to one of the most powerful women in tech is a remarkable story of resilience, innovation, and leadership. Her legacy at AMD is not just defined by financial metrics but by the transformative impact she has made on the semiconductor industry and her role as a pioneering figure for women in STEM. As she continues to lead AMD into the future, there is no doubt that her influence will persist, shaping the trajectory of technology for years to come. Across the African continent, a growing health crisis is emerging that could redefine the landscape of diabetes research and treatment. Traditionally, global health discussions have concentrated on infectious diseases like HIV and tuberculosis, but the tide is shifting as non-communicable diseases, particularly type 2 diabetes, gain prominence. Recent data highlights a startling increase in the prevalence of this metabolic disorder, with the number of individuals suffering from type 2 diabetes in sub-Saharan Africa ballooning from 4 million in 1980 to an estimated 23.6 million in 2021. Projections suggest that this figure could exceed 54.9 million by 2045, driven by rapid lifestyle changes such as unhealthy diets and reduced physical activity. In early February, around 700 stakeholders, including policymakers, academics, and philanthropists, gathered in Kigali, Rwanda to address this alarming trend. Among the attendees was Segan Fatumo, a genetics professor at Queen Mary University of London who is spearheading diabetes research in Uganda and Malawi. Fatumo emphasized the unique opportunity presented by the high number of drug-naive diabetes patients in these regions. This gives researchers a rare window into the natural history of the disease, how it develops, progresses, and responds to different environmental and genetic factors, he explained. This perspective is crucial, as it allows scientists to study the disease from its inception rather than examining it after medication has altered its course. One of the most compelling aspects of the rise in diabetes cases in Africa is the continent's remarkable genetic diversity. Fatumo describes this diversity as a scientific goldmine, opening the door to new discoveries about the biological underpinnings of the disease. This is particularly important given that traditional understandings of diabetes often revolve around obesity and fat accumulation. In many African populations, however, these assumptions may not hold true. Studies indicate that factors such as genetic variations could play a more significant role. For instance, a major genetics study conducted in Ghana, Nigeria, and Kenya identified a gene called ZRAN3 which appears to be linked to insulin production and response in certain individuals. Tanashi Chikawara, researcher at Brigham and Women's Hospital and Harvard Medical School, highlighted the need to explore how widespread this mutation might be both within sub-Saharan Africa and among the African diaspora worldwide. The rise of diabetes also disproportionately affects African men, as suggested by a recent study published in The Lancet Global Health. This research indicates that being male is a significant predictor of diabetes risk, second only to family history. Chikawar noted that the reasons behind this increased vulnerability could range from undiscovered genetic factors to physiological differences in pancreatic development. Ongoing research in East Africa aims to clarify these relationships, particularly in cases where men develop diabetes despite maintaining healthy weights. As the landscape of diabetes diagnosis evolves, researchers are recognizing that traditional methods may be inadequate for certain populations. For example, a study revealed that many individuals of African ancestry may be misdiagnosed due to a deficiency in an enzyme known as G6PD, which can lead to misleading HbA1c levels. This misdiagnosis can result in preventable complications, underscoring the need for more tailored diagnostic tools. Julia Godek, a professor at the South African Medical Research Council, has found that fasting plasma glucose tests may not effectively diagnose diabetes in African women who are often present with low liver fat. Instead, the underlying issue may be an impaired ability to clear insulin from the bloodstream, an insight that could pave the way for improved screening methods. The implications of this research extend beyond Africa's borders. Chikawar believes that insights gained from studying the diverse responses to diabetes in sub-Saharan populations could lead to breakthroughs beneficial to all individuals with diabetes. Understanding why certain populations exhibit resilience to weight gain and its related metabolic issues could inform the development of innovative therapies. As he points out, the ongoing research may unlock pathways to create drugs that enhance metabolic health across various ethnic groups. Chikawar cited the success of genetic research leading to new cholesterol-lowering medications as a model for what could be achieved in diabetes treatment. Imagine if we could one day do the same for diabetes, he mused, envisioning genetically informed drugs that could provide unprecedented protection against the disease. As this research unfolds, the rising rates of diabetes in Africa present both a challenge and an opportunity. While urgent action is needed to address the health crisis, the unique genetic landscape of the continent could catalyze advancements in understanding and treating diabetes, not just for Africa, but for the global population as well. The potential for new treatments and improved diagnostic methods based on this research points toward a future where the fight against diabetes is not only more informed but also more inclusive. In a world increasingly defined by geopolitical tensions and military engagements, the recent developments in both Kashmir and Ukraine highlight the fragility of peace and the complexities of international relations. India has accused Pakistan of violating ceasefire agreements in Kashmir, while the European Union and allied nations have pledged significant military support to Ukraine amidst ongoing conflict with Russia. These events reflect not only regional disputes but also the broader implications of international diplomacy and security. On May 10, 2025, India's Ministry of Defence reported several ceasefire violations along the line of control lock in Kashmir, accusing Pakistan of firing artillery and small arms at Indian positions. This allegation escalates the already strained relations between the two nations, which have historically been marred by territorial disputes and military confrontations. A spokesperson for India's military stated the repeated violations not only undermine peace efforts but also threaten to destabilize the region further. In response, Pakistan has denied these claims, asserting its commitment to maintaining the ceasefire and accusing India of misrepresenting the situation to justify its military posture. The situation remains tense, with both nations maintaining a heavy military presence along the lock. The ramifications of these accusations could extend beyond regional tensions, potentially inviting international scrutiny and involvement, particularly given the strategic importance of Kashmir in South Asian geopolitics. Simultaneously, the European Union is intensifying its support for Ukraine, announcing a commitment of nearly €1.9 billion for military aid aimed at bolstering Ukraine's defense capabilities against Russian aggression. This funding will support the acquisition of weapons and enhance air defense systems. Lithuania's President Gitanas Nausėda emphasized the moral imperative behind this support, stating, "As long as the war continues, we support and will continue to support Ukraine." Impunity encourages the aggressor to continue its crimes. The EU's commitment extends to providing over 1.35 million artillery shells by the end of the year and facilitating the maintenance of military equipment already supplied to Ukraine, including the Caesar self-propelled howitzers from France. The united front among EU member states signals a strategic shift towards a more robust defense posture against perceived threats from Russia, which has been accused of escalating its military operations in the region. Amid these developments, Denmark has summoned the U.S. acting ambassador following reports of increased American intelligence operations in Greenland. This diplomatic gesture reflects the sensitivity surrounding sovereignty and trust among allies, particularly as the Arctic becomes a focal point of geopolitical competition. Danish Foreign Minister Lars Løkke Rasmussen stated, "It is our impression that the acting ambassador took that seriously," underlining Denmark's resolve to address perceived infringements on its territory and the autonomy of Greenland. Furthermore, the UK has introduced new sanctions targeting Russia's shadow fleet, which are part of a broader strategy to pressure Moscow economically amid ongoing hostilities in Ukraine. This action, alongside proposed measures by the EU to hold accountable those involved in human rights violations during the conflict, demonstrates a concerted effort by Western nations to maintain pressure on the Kremlin. As the situation in both Kashmir and Ukraine unfolds, the international community watches closely. Aware that these conflicts could have far-reaching impacts on global security, economic stability, and humanitarian conditions, the intertwined nature of these geopolitical events highlights the necessity for sustained dialogue and diplomatic efforts to avert further escalation. Looking ahead, the potential for negotiations in both regions remains uncertain. However, the ongoing military support for Ukraine and the diplomatic exchanges surrounding Kashmir suggest that the quest for peace will continue to be challenged by entrenched positions and national interests. The coming months will be crucial in determining whether these tensions can be de-escalated or if they will lead to further conflict. In the rapidly evolving landscape of quantum technology, New Mexico is emerging as a pivotal hub for innovation, but experts emphasize that nurturing this industry requires more than just scientific expertise. At a recent conference titled "Competitiveness Across America: Securing Innovation in New Mexico," held at the Santa Fe Community Convention Center and co-hosted by Sandia National Laboratories and Los Alamos National Laboratory, industry leaders gathered to discuss the future of quantum computing and the collaborative efforts needed to propel the sector forward. Dan Stick, a senior scientist at Sandia National Laboratories, expressed an optimistic outlook for the development of practical utility-scale quantum computers within the next decade. The potential for quantum companies to achieve significant breakthroughs is promising, Stick stated during the event. His comments reflect the growing recognition of quantum technology's transformative potential in various sectors, from cryptography to complex problem-solving in fields like medicine and logistics. However, the consensus among speakers and attendees was clear: fostering a thriving quantum industry in New Mexico will hinge on building robust public-private partnerships. David Kiston, who manages technology and economic development at Sandia, highlighted the importance of collaboration between government entities, academic institutions, and private industry. "We need to create an ecosystem that not only supports scientific research but also encourages commercialization and workforce development," Kiston said, underscoring the multifaceted approach necessary for sustainable growth. The implications of advancing quantum technology extend beyond technological advancements. They encompass significant economic opportunities for New Mexico. As Kiston noted, creating a supportive environment for startups and established companies alike could lead to job creation and attract investments, positioning the state as a leader in the quantum sector. This vision aligns with broader national objectives to secure America's technological leadership in an increasingly competitive global landscape. The conference showcased various initiatives aimed at strengthening this ecosystem, including funding programs and educational partnerships designed to equip the next generation of scientists and engineers with the skills required in the quantum field. as stated by one participant. It's about creating a pipeline of talent that can not only innovate but also implement these technologies effectively. Looking ahead, the collaboration between scientific institutions and industry leaders in New Mexico could serve as a model for other regions aiming to harness the power of quantum technology. The path to establishing a robust quantum industry will undoubtedly be complex, requiring a commitment to interdisciplinary cooperation and an ongoing investment in human capital. As the landscape continues to evolve, stakeholders will need to remain agile and responsive to the challenges and opportunities that lie ahead. In conclusion, while the scientific potential of quantum computing is vast, the realization of its benefits will depend on a concerted effort to build a comprehensive support framework. The ongoing dialogue among experts in New Mexico signals a proactive approach to not only fostering innovation but also ensuring that the region remains at the forefront of this pivotal technological revolution. As investments and initiatives continue to unfold, the coming years will be critical in determining how effectively New Mexico can leverage its unique assets to advance the quantum industry.